Oh, bless me. Oh, shit. Netflix exec convicted of receiving bribes and kickbacks from companies contracting with Netflix. Pay to play bribes and kickbacks from tech startups seeking to sell to Netflix. Why? Okay, they convicted of wire fraud, acting. Okay, so they bribed Netflix to approve contracts. Power to approve viable contracts with small tech vendors, and he rigged the process to unlock a stream of cash and stock kickbacks to himself. Oh, I see, I see. So then Netflix would contract stuff out to these small vendors. But what kind of services? Still have to work with industry. Okay, sure. Undermine the fabric competition. Personal gain, blah blah blah. Was employed at Netflix from 2014 in position. Kill owned Netflix's honest service. Okay, so it was just from 2011 to 2014. Owned Netflix his honest services. Sure. Reported a gift or entity seeking to sell to the company. Okay, fair. Improved. Okay, so improved. Wait, holy shit. You literally risked fucking you risked your fucking job and going to jail by fucking taking over 500k? The fuck? That's just one extra year of work. What the fuck do you need? Jesus Christ. Unix mercenary had no business and no business location. 12%. That's how much it took to bribe a VP of engineering? Are you fucking kidding me? Just $500,000? Are you kidding? Wow. Oh, unless the 500k and then stock options are included with that. Then it's like, okay, maybe those stock options might be worth a little bit more, but holy shit, that's like such a cheap bribe. Okay. Receive payments from amounted 12% of billings to Netflix for its contracted staff. And 15% of all billings. Okay. The payment stopped after Kyle left Netflix. Okay, so it's just that there's a lot of payments going to that company, and then the payment stopped after leaving Netflix. I think to defraud Netflix. Okay. Not yet. And sign an evaluation agreement to test platforms a day. And saying, I look forward to helping you with right to oh! Wow. Okay, so these are options to purchase. Okay, so it is that. It is just the cash plus the stock options. Okay. Oof, okay, conflict of interest. Over 30,000. Okay. Approved a contract despite the underperformance. Okay, so a lot of these are like third-party analytics stuff. Alright. It became increasingly difficult for me to act confidence and then currently have severe performance issues. Okay, that's fair. Wait, I can just and then authorize Netflix to enter a 112,000 contract with that company. It's interesting because like usually this one's kind of weird actually. I don't know how to make of it. Because it kind of seems to imply that you can take a contracted position while still employed at a company. Even though, despite what most companies would rather think or say. So. All right, so basically overall, it just boils down to, hey, this guy got employed at Netflix and then used a position at Netflix to consult for other companies. What the fuck is 32-bit real estate? Oh, it's just a Docker. It looks like some Docker shit. Graduate course in applied cryptography. Oh shit. Okay, let's see. I want to read this one. The day my script killed 10,000 phones in South America. How not to test your code. Sure. Okay, sure. This looks like a cautionary tale on why you should test your goddamn code. Okay, fair enough. Let's see what it has to say. Like all horror stories, mine started at 10:15 on a Friday evening. Remember that script we wrote yesterday? We've locked thousands of phones, and people are complaining. This is the height of the COVID lockdown. A contract with no job security. Being fired would have been terrible. How did your script lock thousands of phones? Tales of a K-pop phone company. All right. I was working for a security company in the test automation group. Okay, the main product was an app sold to mobile operators that would lock the phone if it was stolen or the customer stopped paying. Okay, sure. The app was built as part of Android OS, so you couldn't uninstall it. It would lock the low-level features that allow you to make calls or use Wi-Fi or even post up pictures of Facebook until you paid up. Okay, so it looks like it's like Korean phone company. So I would bet that this is a security feature for like Samsung, if I had to guess. All good. The company also made the front end for the operators to check which phones to lock. Our own internal tool worked well. I would like to say it was all due to me, which is the most arrogant thing to say, but also 100%. It was almost okay. It's mostly due to you. Yes, that one. Yeah. It's definitely Samsung because the reason why is because Facebook has this contract in South Korea where all the phones come with, or at least with Samsung, I think. I don't know if it's South Korea or Samsung, but basically they have to pre-install Facebook on all their phones. So, was too good to use our software and want to use their crappy web-based tool. Yeah, it's definitely Samsung. Samsung always does this shit where they package like their web browser, their music tools, and with the fucking app, and then they like never take care of it, and they just rewrite it every single freaking cycle, which is why all the apps, the Samsung apps, are pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you know anything about the Android space, you'll know how much people really hate Samsung and how it like blows up their app every single time. Which is fine. I was getting paid, so I test what they gave me. So where did it go wrong? All right. So he locked it. It was supposed to be a remote lock. Let's see what happened. Our company had been bought by an investment firm, and they wanted their pound of flesh. All product deadlines were moved up, and at one time we were testing 3 products. Okay, so a lot of different products happened, and everyone was testing the happy path. So one of the final tests we had to do was confirm that when a mobile phone uploaded a CSV with multiple phones, they were all locked. Okay, sure. Wrote a Python script that would generate a few random phone numbers, would log into web portal, lock the phones, then log into a different portal, check the results. Okay, sure. You could try a bunch of different phone numbers and then try and see how it looks on another end. Okay, so I'm assuming that he did this. I'm gonna guess that he did this in production and that these generated phone numbers actually corresponded to real phones. So the file script actually generated hundred thousands of random numbers because we had a few different use cases. Okay, because of time pressure or the script was not well written. As soon as I banged it out, it was live. And I mean literally 10 seconds after I pressed save. Oh, God. I could have tested better, but that would have meant working late into the night. No thanks. I had worked a few late nights and weekends. The managers confirmed it did exactly what it was supposed to do. We could release the product next Monday, so I don't want to be working weekend. And they got the email. Okay, so remember how I told you these phones were randomly generated? The Python script would randomly generate an 11-letter phone numbers. And of course, some of those phones were actual numbers. Ding, 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 of course. And due to the way I wrote the script, some weird IMEI hacked, and IMEI is a unique that identifies every phone. All these phones were in South America. Nice. So, yeah. So he definitely tested this in production with real phone numbers. And I'm betting you he didn't roll those back, but... Or even then, like, you shouldn't be using real phone numbers. You should be testing with, like, some dummy phone number that doesn't actually exist. Do you have the CSV file that you use when testing? We could adjust the script again, but this time with an unlock setting. Sure. Of course I didn't. The script had been hacked together and overrode the last values. I had only the most recent one. It was meant to be a one-time thing for a quick test. Okay. So basically, he's asking if you can roll back the freaking test or whatever was there. Okay. You could log into this Korean K-pop mobile phone company and download the list, but they would only allow you to download 100 at a time and download 10,000 plus. Jesus Christ. So another script to download the phone numbers, and yet another one to claim the shitty CSVs they gave us back. They mangled everything. Okay. And a third script to reconnect the server, unlock all the phones. Okay. Okay, so basically they had to undo all the shit that they tested with. That's fine. They just rolled it back, and they scripted the download. And then they basically had an hour of breathing room. Fine, that's fair. So the lessons you learned or you didn't learn. Test scripts are needed as much as normal code. Yeah, that makes sense. But testing code that tests is also fundamentally a liability as well. Simply because it's just more overhead for you to worry about. So you should consider the amount of code that you're writing, not just the amount of code that you write for the product, but the amount of code that you write to test the product too. That goes without saying. So I think that's part of like the estimates that people should give, and I think people only really consider testing as like an afterthought, especially if you're a junior engineer. But in my experience, I would say that when you write tests, they are fundamentally like I would say like approximately like 30% of the amount of code you actually write. I think that's just based on my personal experience. So make sure you budget the time to write those as well. You should never test critical production code under deadlines. Yeah, that's fine. If you want to keep your job, the Korean K-pop phone number had no checks. It was a pain to register on their system, but once you register, you can unlock any phone in the world. Yeah, don't let them touch production that hard. I think that's pretty much it. So if you buy a phone from T-Mobile, they should be registered in multiple places, and only T-Mobile should be allowed to dock the phone. So at least until the customer pays off their phone and changes the provider. All right. So and yet K-pop Central allowed anyone to lock any phone if you just knew their phone number. So basically, it's just a mismanagement of where the responsibility lies. The responsibility in this particular use case should have been with the cellular providers, not the actual phone, like Samsung. So this actually can get fantastically complicated when you are shipping phones around the world, and you give all that power to one phone manufacturer. So like Kanye say, no one man should have all that power. Do some fucking checks before you lock someone's phone. It's like a very critical it's a very critical thing, and putting that in so cavalier, it is like really really fucking bad. So testing should be done incrementally. Yes. Why didn't me? Because I had no time. I think that's also a fault of like Python, where you can like write things so fast that you don't have to care, and that encourages like some pretty weird behavior as well. Happy path testing is to just test the best case. Ideally, we should kind of consider testing for bad actors as well. Yeah, what's the worst thing that can happen? So this is like a whole exercise in risk management. We assume that because our own software checked this for us, that the K-pop's phone software would make you do it as well. When you assume, you make it ask. Yeah, it's actually there's a little bit more nuance to it than this. It depends on if your assumptions are reasonable. Don't test shit in production. Yep. We had a dev and staging server, but we weren't connected to the live app. Yeah. We needed to release the product next 2 to 3 days. So yeah, this is like don't test in fucking production at all. But you know, this is a rule that gets broken pretty quickly and pretty often. And usually what they do is like they just have test accounts actually instead of production accounts. So most people actually end up breaking this rule regardless of what you might think, just because it's faster. And you know, path of least resistance. No one, and this is a very hard rule to enforce, especially on an organizational level. Look, as I said, we didn't learn any of the lessons. As soon as the product was officially next week, we were back writing our own shitty code. Yeah. Look, Mom, this box on the UI stick, the code is working. Yeah, you mixed it. It's like you fixed that as well. Some product managers and important sales managers had also been doing the same thing, making up phone numbers and locking real phones. Of course, they were doing it manually, so only locked 3 or 4 phones, while we locked 10,000. Yeah, everyone was pissing in the pool, but like it's just a matter of who gets caught. So a lot of these quote-unquote lessons are very hard to actually act on, so which begs the question, are they actually going to be learned and worked with? So, alright, anyway, it's 7:59. I think it's about time for me to bring the client on, so let's actually see, let's see what he has to say. What the fuck? Hold up, guys. My mouse is freaking out right now. Which one of these cables connects to my freaking... Alright, let's see what he got. Invalid meeting ID? What the fuck is going on? Oh, wait, looks like the meeting was deleted, actually. Guess not. Huh. Guess I don't have a client today. I guess Google lied to me. So, yeah, I mean, I guess there wasn't really any questions today, so I guess I'll close out the stream. Sorry guys, I thought I was gonna have a client, but I guess not. So, you know what? Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching me read a blog. Yeah. Maybe I'll see you guys Thursday then. Take care.